Welcome to Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we got a very special guest. It's Mike Zagare, the founder of PPC Entourage, a next level PPC software. Welcome, Mike. Hold on. One more thing. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the content, give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you so much for being here today, Mike. It's a pleasure having you on the show. So we really want to hear your business story today, from the humble beginnings up to success. So where are you at the moment? I mean, where are you located? And then we just take it from there.
Yeah, first off, thank you so much for having me on. Excited to be here. And I'm in the United States. I'm in New York. I was born and raised in New York. Brief stint in Connecticut, where I went to college for about 7 years or so, six years. Okay. And then now I'm back here and I'm doing the entrepreneurial thing. You know, I consider myself, you guys have probably heard this story before, maybe not, but I consider myself a recovering physical therapist. Okay. Because I was doing physical therapy and I was just absolutely not loving it whatsoever. Yeah. That's I went to UConn for physical therapy school, and I tell you, my hair fell out during physical therapy school. I remember going through my hair and pulling it out in clumps from the stress. Whoa. And I was like, is this going to be my life? Is this what's up? And I did not connect with anyone in the class. My teachers, I was like hiding. I didn't want to be called on. I absolutely hated every second of it. And then I did about 10 years of physical therapy. And then I realized, hey, there's got to be another avenue. So my coach, who I still coach with, he introduced me to e-commerce in a weird, strange way. He just said, hey, I see you in importing and exporting. And I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, I don't know, but I see you in importing and exporting. 3 days later, I saw something for eBay. And I'm like, maybe this is what he means. eBay led to Amazon. And here we are now. That was about 6 years ago.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's this story, we need to break it down now, because this is definitely something where we can learn a lot from. It's let's, for example, when you went to school, and let's say elementary and then high school, where were your strong points? I mean, I'm sure there was something where teacher either maybe they didn't pay attention, or teachers were pushing you, but back in the days, normally teacher weren't pushing a lot when even if there is potential, most of the time, you found out by yourself. Yeah. Where did you get that one? Or
yeah, I had a lot of strong points. I would say in athletics, I was always very tall and good at athletics. So anything that I took on, I kind of excelled. Like, for example, swimming, within a couple of months, I was winning medals in swimming. And then it seemed like whatever I went into, and this still didn't always play out in the rest of my life, but at that stage, early on, young, ambitious, like didn't care, no fears, whatever I took on, I did really well at. Like, so swimming, did really well right away. Then drama, I won an award for drama. I didn't care about drama, but I got into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can. Then art, I did really well there. I was never really that great of a student. I never had that analytical brain where I had to get hundreds or whatever, but I always tried really hard. And whenever I learned, whatever I tried to do, I tried to get really deeply into it and excel at it. So that was earlier on. And my teachers would probably say that I was easy to get along with and passionate about what I did. And I was also a bit of a chop buster, as my grandpa would say it. Meaning, like, you get into, and have you heard of that phrase before, chop busting?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's just like, breaking balls, having fun with people, just that type of personality. Yeah. So that was me. And I remember distinctly, Omar, this is a time in my life. I remember when I realized that I was different. And this was at the age of 13. At the age of 13, there was this movie that I loved. It was called Can't Hardly Wait. And it was with like this beautiful girl, Jennifer Love Hewitt. And it was all about partying and all this kind of stuff. And I loved that movie. Saw it like 6 times in the theater. Then my dad introduced me to a band around the same time called Jethro Tull. Okay. And I listened to the music and I fell in love with this one song called Thick as a Brick. My friends and I went to a music store, and I remember having two CDs in my hand. It was the soundtrack to Can't Hardly Wait, and it was the Thick as a Brick CD. And I'm like, which one of these do I want to go with? And at that point, it seems like kind of weird at this time, but at that point, I picked up the Thick as a Brick album, which, by the way, is a rock and roll album with a guy playing a flute. So when you're 13 years old, that really doesn't go too well over with your friends, like, oh, you're going to listen to the guy with the flute. But I picked that and I was like, you know what? This is me. This is different. And I realized that, man, this is just so different and unique. And I don't want to go down that other path. I want to go down this path. And I remember that's when I became, in a weird way, an entrepreneur. I was like, I am different. I am unique. This is how I think. I think a little bit differently. And I just went with it. And I kind of realized that pattern showed up the rest of my life.
Oh, that's that's already a lot of input here, because when you tell me, like, in school, because you're tall, then you obviously it's easy for you, basketball, swimming. Actually, in swimming, what was your favorite? The butterfly or?
No, I could barely do the butterfly. I couldn't do butterfly or breaststroke. I was good at backstroke.
Okay. Whoa. You see, completely random. You know what I mean? I thought maybe crawling, but butterfly would be like, for tall guys, it's pretty easy. When you.
I was like a chubby tall guy though, so it wasn't too easy for me.
Okay, that's good. So no dunking in basketball, right?
No, I couldn't I could get rebounds, but I was never able to dunk even at 6'4". Okay. I just had no lift.
Okay.
But baseball, I was a power hitter. I was good at pitching, good at first base.
Okay.
Good at center and getting rebounds, but no, never any dunk. I could see you dunking though. You're very athletic.
No, I'm maybe I touched I was never like I don't have jumping power,
Right. It takes a
I have some leg power, but not out of the calves, like jumping power. Never had. I was
our friend George Bryant. Our friend George Bryant is a what is he? He's a master jumper. He's like won awards for it. Yeah, ask him about it. I've seen videos. He could jump like 5 feet high or something crazy like that.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So, for example, for you, that is what I see is like already the pattern. Because competitive. If you're not competitive in sports, then you have other things. You moved on after your school. I mean, not after your school, but like in high school, a little bit more. What was going on there? Is there already a way? Did you already tried anything? Maybe selling stuff or already? Because I think back then the internet was already on. Yeah, you've seen yeah.
So we're talking around 97, 98. Exactly. Is when I was like, thinking about getting my first job. And I remember I went through a bunch of jobs that I absolutely couldn't take at all. My worst job was at Nathan's Hot Dogs. I was there for 5 hours. I made $7 an hour, which, by the way, at the time was like $2 or $3 more than everyone else was making.
Okay.
Because I was working these awful shifts. Okay. I lasted one shift and I think I got kicked out of there. I was like, it just wasn't for me. I got fired from Carvel. I got fired from a lot of jobs. I literally am like unemployable. I don't listen to a lot of directions very well. I'm definitely different in terms of being an employee. But at that time, I had this next door neighbor and he was one of my best friends. He and I got into a bunch of trouble because we both started to gamble. So we both started to gamble and we would go, when we were 18, we would go to the OTB and we would gamble on horse tracks, horse races, all of this kind of stuff. Now, him and I had this side hustle. Okay. This side hustle. Now, if I would have stuck with the side hustle, probably would have been way more wealthy than I am today, but it was selling on eBay. So I'm talking like at the age of 16, 17, back in 1998, I was selling on eBay. And what we were doing is we would wake up at, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning on Saturday mornings, and we would get ourselves ready to buy tickets and scalp them. So we would buy them on Ticketmaster. We would buy them for like $100 or whatever. And we would do our best to sell them for like $200, $300, $400.
Wow.
At one point we sold Rod Stewart tickets for $800 and we got them for $100. Wow. So we did well. I mean, it wasn't like, you can stop working now, but at the time it was like it was a lot of money. But like I gotta be honest, Omar, I think I've heard this in podcasts before. Sometimes entrepreneurials have some like bad streaks of things that they've done in the past.
Yeah.
And in that stage, like when I was gambling and when I was trying to make money online, it wasn't always in the best interest of everyone else. I didn't
Yeah.
always do it. Like always, we would get into trouble and do things and test the waters a little bit. And that happened a couple times as well. So that was that stage of my life. And then went to college. In college, I didn't work. I just went to college.
Okay. So any major, any direction what you wanted to take, or plans at this stage? I mean, what was the university? What would you like to at that point? What was your plan to study, for example?
Yeah. So my dad had an issue with his shoulder, and he went to physical therapy when I was around 17. And I went to one of his therapy sessions, and I was thinking at the time, like, you know what, I can do this. It's up and about. You can just use your mind, use your body. It seems easy. I'll just choose physical therapy. And I didn't know, much about anything back then. I knew nothing about who I was, or, I'm still learning about who I am and all. But at that point, I really didn't know. And I just had to choose something. And it really wasn't what I ultimately loved to do, but it definitely played a role in my journey. So I chose that. And within 2 years, I was accepted into the program. And then it was like intense 4 years of physical therapy. And what I mean by intense is, do you ever do something that you're forced to do that you really hate to do that makes it like 20 times more intense than it actually is?
Yes.
That was this for me. That was like, forced, like getting through the process because I thought that's what you had to do in order to succeed in life, not knowing that I was really an entrepreneur at heart at the time.
Wow.
So I would get through it. I would take tests, but it would take me forever to study. I would get B's, low B's, just barely getting by. And then I graduated, and then after that, I realized, I started to realize entrepreneurship was my thing, and it happened slowly over time.
That was about 2000, right?
So I graduated there in 2006.
2006. Okay. Get it.
Yeah. And then, and by 2009, I started my own home care physical therapy business.
Okay. So they call you come with this badge, I don't know what they call you need to bring some like a foldable bed or something, right? And you bring it with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I was working for someone out at the outpatient clinic.
Okay.
And then on the part-time, I was doing in-home therapy for seniors.
Okay.
And I liked that because I could, first off, I could get out of the office, and then I could also make more money. You made like twice as much doing the home care. But then I realized 50% of what I was making was going to my boss.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what, if I could make this doing the home care, which was nice because I can focus on one person at a time, as opposed to the outpatient clinic, which was like 3 to 4 people at a time, less paperwork, more one-on-one time. But if I can do it on my own, wow, that would be fantastic. I can make like double or triple. But then the idea came, well, what if I had a team? What if I flipped the script and had a team of other therapists doing this on my behalf? Well, now everything started cooking. I remember going to a restaurant called the Who Grill in Bethpage, New York. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. And I remember I remember asking for a pen because all I had was a napkin. And I was just writing down ideas ferociously about how I was going to build this physical therapy business on a napkin. And then the next day, not knowing what I was doing, I formed a company, and the rest is history with that first company.
Wow, that's an amazing story, because when I think back about I used physical therapy a lot, and really I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Going to them gives me shivers, because they hurt me. They really hurt me, So wow. Because I'm doing a lot of sports, obviously they say like, oh yay, we can do something, and then you have I remember these strange pistols in my back, and
Ooh.
These things with I don't know what it's called. There is as well a very good Amazon seller at the moment, and they got sponsorship from the UFC, or they partner with the UFC. Hyper Ice.
Oh yeah, I have one of those. Yeah, it's like the gun, right? That goes in and exactly. Gets the trigger points out. Right. And yeah, they're intense.
Terrible what they did with my back. I mean, afterwards I feel good, but no, that's why you now remember. They make me remember all of the stuff what they did to me, and dry needles in the back, and no. It's not for me. So good that you stopped this, because when I would talk to you, I would always think about this, so all good. All good.
I'm way past that at this point. And I'm not going back. That's for sure.
That sounds good. Okay. So so this company, obviously you formed the company, and then you were your own boss, your own team. And was it really working? Was it running as you hoped it will run?
Well, it's important to note that it really only started off with one patient who I actually kind of took from my old employee. When I think about it, they called me back like months later. I'm like, yeah, I'll take you on. And then I took them under my own business. And I'm like, okay, this is the first time.
Okay.
And then I remember I was asking myself, well, how am I going to get other clients? How am I going to get other patients? So the idea came to go to like these networking events, which I absolutely dreaded going to, which was like me going to these morning events at like 9 a.m. and like drinking stale coffee and listening to these boring presentations and then hearing about people and their agencies. And oh man, I absolutely dreaded it. But that was like the way to get new clients in the door. And before you know it, I had one referral. I found a biller to do my billing. And then I had like a couple of different clients coming in. And then a big pivot point was when I found another therapist and hired another therapist to take on a client.
Okay.
And I remember the moment when it happened. And I realized that I was now leveraging the business, even though I was losing money at the time, like crazy, you have no idea. But I was leveraging, not just my time, but others' time as well to build and grow a business. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I was at Dunkin' Donuts and I was like, did that just happen? She actually just did the session and went well. And we're going to collect, so it just like started to play in my mind. Like, this is a great way to scale a business or to grow a business. But at the time I was also drowning in all of the stuff, the secretarial stuff, the billing, like all of that stuff, which I didn't know, how to build systems and how to find people. And I was doing everything myself. So that was a journey and a process of learning how to do billing, how to make systems, how to do marketing, how to do advertising. And I got a lot of that out of the way, which I think was very useful in preparation for Amazon. Okay. Because once I hit Amazon, I knew how to make a business. I knew how to build a team. At this point, I had 7 or 8 different therapists that they were going all across, New York. Okay. I had a full staff in the office, and I played it so that my old employee who actually fired me, we were still friends. She's like, listen, you don't follow rules. So she fired me, and I spoke to her. I said, listen, you guys do everything that I need for my home care business. Can you manage my home care business while you're managing your business? So they had 2 separate phone numbers, one for their business and one for my business, which was home care. And they handled everything. And then I was like, wow, even more freedom. Now I can focus in on seeing the amount of clients. How many clients do I have to see to survive? Okay, it's 7 or 8 a week, whatever. That's survival. Now, the rest of the time, I want to build my business. And I remember saying, Omar, if I can get to the point where I don't have to see any clients and I could just build my business and I could go to Starbucks and like hang there for a little bit and work on my business, that will be the best thing ever. That's really what I want to do. I don't want to do physical therapy. I want to build businesses. And it took several years to get to that point. We always just broke even in that business. It was never a profitable business, wow, but it was enough for me to survive and to learn all of the skills to get to Amazon ready to take on the responsibilities of a business.
Okay. So yeah, so this went on for a few years, I guess, like you mentioned 2006, 2009. 2000 that's about the years you managed this business, because you grew it. What did you do with the business? Did you just let it die, or?
No, it was really cool. At the very last minute, 2015, somebody from an agent, someone, I got connected to someone at an assisted living facility, and they sent me all their patients. And that was enough to get the interest of a buyer. And we ended up selling the business, I think, in 2017.
Amazing. Very good.
Yeah, it was a good story in the end. I was like, I had enough with it. It was just kind of like barely getting by. But that last little push helped it. And then we sold it off. And now I'm done with physical therapy.
I don't want this well anymore. So 10 years of 11 years physical therapy, right?
About 11 years of physical
Wow,
therapy. Yeah.
very good.
Actually, you know what? I saw that's my timetable's a little off because I remember I saw my last, 2016 was my last patient that I
Okay,
saw.
okay. So about
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah, but still, that's really like you really hang in there. You try to scale it. You tried your best, and at the end, even you sold it. I mean, there is no better story. It's closed, done, deal done. Very good, very
Yeah.
inspiring.
Very happy to exit that business for sure. And Amazon was much better in terms of,
Okay.
especially back in 2015, 2016.
So how?
That was,
Oh yes, I mean the gold rush for 2013, 2014. Yeah, it was kind of amazing. So you did you already came in contact? I mean, you already were in contact before with eBay, but it was not your time. So from eBay to physical therapy, and then from physical therapy, did you do any eBay at that moment in this whole time, or did you really? Where is Amazon? How came Amazon your way when you were in a physical business? How did that happen?
yeah. So I was not in eBay all those years. I was basically at the point where my coach told me, he basically said, "Hey, I see you in importing and exporting." At the time, I was doing all sorts of things, like trying to build a business. I was like trying to build my personal brand. I was doing gosh, what was I up to? I was up to all sorts of things. I had a website called MikeZagare.com where I was an affiliate, like all sorts of things.
Okay.
None of them worked at all. And then the opportunity for eBay dropshipping came. I saw a video. I don't know if you've seen this video, but it was a video from Roger Langell. And it was like the most deeply emotional video of how he can now, he quit his job and he can now go to like Disney
Yeah,
World, take his,
one of these, I know one of these videos on YouTube which were playing around all the time. Yeah, yeah,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
it just went viral. And I was like, I can do this. I've done eBay before. I can do this. So I started drop shipping and it was horrible. It was just, it was good in the sense that I made sales, but the margins were small and the work was like excessive. And you had to go, then I did retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And online arbitrage was like crazy because I basically went to Toys R Us and ordered like all of these things to my apartment, and I live with other people, and they started to get pissed because like 50 boxes a day would come and it would block the door. And at one point, the post office closed down. They told me they didn't have any more room for my boxes.
Oh,
They
really?
said, if you don't come here and get all these boxes, then we're not going to be able to take on any more shipments. You have to come now to get these boxes. And in my whole apartment, I have pictures of it, was taken up by boxes. I'm like, this is not sustainable. I can't do this. So then someone introduced me to FBA.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was part of his course as well, as he taught you a little bit about FBA. And then I eventually went on eBay, YouTube rather, and I started watching videos on FBA. And I knew that was the answer. Like that was the one that was gonna be the answer for this whole thing. That's the pinnacle of this business.
Oh, there is no better match, when you see you drowning in merchandise and everything, in your own home, and then FBA comes along. I mean, what is better? Yes, for sure, I do it. Deal done deal. Yes, let's go. So yeah,
Yeah, it was like it blew my mind.
sure.
It just blew my mind that there was this opportunity to creatively come up with a product, and then not even have to really touch it, and not even have to really see it,
Yeah.
and then have it to ship, packed, everything, all these different things done for you. I'm like, this is just an amazing opportunity. So I'm still very thankful, even though there's been a ton of headaches with Amazon throughout the
Oh
years.
yes. Yes,
Sometimes when I think of Amazon, I get a pain in my back just thinking about all the different issues I've had with them over the
yes.
years. But ultimately, it's been a very big blessing, obviously.
Oh, that's really good. So, and this was, like you said, 2015, 2016. Then 2017 it goes bigger, the Amazon business. And when did you realize that there is something missing? What was the point where you say, okay, now I got my FBA, I'm not anymore in my apartment where the whole thing is full up to the top. Everything is running smoothly, a few problems, but where was the point, like you say, hey, listen, this don't work like this. I cannot do it anymore. How?
Well, well, I realized that there was a major, back in 2016 was the very beginning of Amazon advertising.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was so much power there. I remember using Viral Launch to launch our products, and then also um, using Amazon advertising to really scale our products as well. And I would just sit inside of like Starbucks in like in this laboratory of search term reports, and just even just like coming up with thousands of different search terms to get our product in front of. And back then you could do that and it was no big deal. And just seeing the like the impact of just making one change to my listing and doing one campaign and how much of an impact that actually had. And I was like, you know what, this is really cool, but it's a lot of, there's no system in place. I need a system to follow.
Yeah.
It's getting a little crazy and there's no software to really help it, run smoothly. So
Yeah.
there was a need there. And from that need came the system that was the Blueprint series, the PPC Entourage Blueprint series, which it has been used by thousands of sellers throughout the years to really organize their campaign structure in a way that's simple and easy. Now that has since become outdated, but still the principles of that Blueprint series are very sound in the sense that you start off with a research campaign, you migrate to another campaign, and then you set up an auto campaign, and then eventually you go to an exact match campaign. So that gave a lot of structure. Now, that was a big pivot point for us. It was great because there was a new business, and I'm super passionate about PPC Entourage. In retrospect, it was not good for my Amazon business because while they were very much aligned, it took my focus away from the Amazon business. And I was way more passionate about PPC Entourage. That's just how it happened. And we started to let the Amazon business sort of like suffer a little bit. So it wasn't getting all the TLC that it needed. And we built it up to about $5 million a year.
Okay.
And then all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. And I'm willing to share that story. Now, up until about 6 months ago, I have not been sharing this story because I was not very proud of this story. But I'm willing to share this story about how all hell broke loose because I would love if sellers could avoid the problems the things that I did to make that happen or to help assist that in happening. So, and you talked about issues. Essentially what happened was we tried to scale so fast and get into every marketplace and introduce new products and get into all the different Amazon accounts and all of the different off Amazon accounts, build Shopify, all of this stuff. Now, on top of that, I was also doing PPC Entourage and going, as hard as I could possibly go with that. On top of that, you have life. On top of that, you have all these. So something is going to suffer. And what happened was we took our eye off the ball with Amazon. We ended up placing an order that was way too big for us, a $750,000 order. We didn't really vet this order well enough. It ended up being way too much that we actually needed. And it ended up killing our cash flow.
Okay.
On top of that, we ended up having issues with Amazon taking a couple of our listings down. So that hurt. And then it was like paper cut after paper cut after paper cut. And before you know it, that $5 million business was all the way back down to below $1 million, simply because we made 2 or 3 critical errors and we were never able to recover from those errors. So this is the type of business where I truly believe that, sell on the way up, but also be very smart about how you scale. There's so many things I can share in terms of wisdom, in terms of the mistakes that I've made, also the good things that we've done. We've done a lot of things that worked out really well, but there's like 4 or 5 things that we did that I think really hurt our business looking back.
Okay. Wow. That's a crazy story, because I mean, you're right. When you take your focus off one thing, that's it. I think the focus must lie on one. Either you have a focus and then you put somebody else on the business, on no matter what, if it's possible, or you need to choose, or you have a good partner who's then can, you do this together. But, I understand, and it's, wow. That's
Hey, you mentioned that. So you mentioned the partner that you do this together. That was one of the mistakes that I made.
okay.
So my business partner, who's my lifelong friend, Mike, believed in me enough to invest in the company.
Okay.
However, he was full-time in his other job. And there was always this thing where if we got to a certain point, he would come on board and be full-time in this entrepreneurial journey. But it was too much risk for him. It was too much risk for his wife. And I didn't know that at the time. So having a partner who was fully invested, I think that is and we've spoken about this, Mike and I, we're very close friends. And now we've gotten to the point where this is just how it turned out. But in retrospect, I wouldn't take on a business partner unless that business partner was fully invested, just like I was. Because what happens is it turns out where, even though they mean well and they're doing everything that they can, they don't have the time that you do, and it causes all sorts of issues, and then things get left out. And then he was involved in both businesses. So I would say a lesson learned going into a new venture, everyone's got to know what the expectations are and fully invested. Otherwise, if someone wants to come on 10% and they're doing 90% elsewhere, I personally would run for the hills just from that lesson learned. And I think, you could ask Mike too. He would say that was a mistake that we both made.
Okay. Now, but I mean, it's good when you afterwards you analyze the situation and you get a conclusion out of it, and everyone happy. But you for the next time you understand. I mean, for us, what's been an entrepreneur is not that we work 24 hours. It's 100% into the thing all the time. It's I don't, for sure you can have a day off. For sure you can have, something, some fun outside of what you do. But the focus is important. You need to be that. It's really always into the thing. You need to live it. When you wake up, you need to think about it. It's always there. That's how it works for us. So I understand completely. And when somebody is not in the same mindset, or not really the mindset, maybe the mindset, yes, but has other things going on, because we're not anymore 15 years old, where we just can invest 24 hours in whatever we do. Now there is other things which coming up. So yeah, we have to make choices. But yes, I understand completely. It's a very, very, very good advice.
Yeah, thanks. Yep. So
another question, for example, PPC Entourage.
Yes.
You say the blueprint, obviously afterwards it had evolved a little bit now we are at the version which is on the market, where which is new is using, us included. And tell us a little bit about it, like in a few words, which would be for sellers. Why would it be for sellers important? And what would they get, for example, and how does the whole thing work?
Yeah. So first off, if you go to our website, ppcentourage.com, you'll see a link for the Playbook Series. All you have to do is scroll down to the bottom, or go to amzadsplaybook.com, and you'll see a download. Now, this is a free download. And the reason why we made it free, and we could probably charge like thousands of dollars for this, because it's all of our experience from years and years broken down into 30 different campaigns. So now the original blueprint was 4 campaigns. Now we're up to 30. And the reason why there's 30 campaigns is because not only, has Amazon added all these different ad types, we have sponsored product ads, sponsored display ads, sponsored brand ads, sponsored brand video ads. So there's all these different types of campaigns that you could make, but Amazon's also gotten much better with targeting. And with that, there's a need to really grow as an advertiser and start to think about where customers are at in looking for your product, in the purchase process of buying your product. So the ads all the different campaigns are broken down by ad type, but also how can you use those ads based on where the customers are at? For example, let's say you want to get your product out in front of a bunch of different shoppers, and you want to make sure you don't really spend a ton of money, or you only have a certain budget overall, then only a certain percentage of your budget should really go towards that discovery or research phase. And you can use all three ad types to get your ad out there. You can use sponsored, you can use auto campaigns. You can use research campaigns for sponsored product ads. You can use sponsored display ads in a certain way to get more of the discovery phase. And we teach you how to utilize all the different settings to get that and accomplish that goal. Now, let's say you want to go to the other end of the pendulum, and you want to go to the post-purchase phase. Now, these are the customers who have already purchased from you, who know, like, and trust you. Now you want to utilize all three ad types to protect your brand, to take up the real estate, specifically when they're looking for your product. And there's ways to do that. So we go from discovery phase all the way through now the post-purchase phase. You identify the audience, which is going to be a little bit different, very different for discovery phase as opposed to the post-purchase phase, and everything in between. And right now we've identified about 30 campaigns. There's more than that you can set up, but 30 different campaigns. And the way to use the Playbook Series is essentially go in there and look at where your product is at and see where there are gaps in your advertising. You can set up the low-hanging fruit to start, which would be the post-purchase campaigns, and then see where there's some gaps. There's a ton of opportunity if you set up these campaigns the right way, specifically with sponsored brand ads. Sellers can be lazy with sponsored brand ads, sponsored brand video ads. You want to make sure your ads are very relevant and very targeted. So we teach you how to do that inside of the playbook, how to come up with those relevant ads, how to find the relevant search terms, how to use those search terms the right way inside of your sponsored brand ads. All of that is laid out. It's 100% free. It's me going through each video type, step by step by step, even going into Amazon, showing you which settings to use and the whole philosophy behind each different type of campaign. Now, it does not cover optimization. This version does not cover optimization. In the future, we'll add that. Optimization is a whole other, bag of tricks. But this is more how to really get your campaigns out there in front of as many shoppers as possible, but do it strategically and smartly, and do it the right way so you don't waste a lot of money in the process.
Wow, that's a really good description of everything. And yeah, it's amazing to see this, because it has evaluated until this big monster now. And I'm sure out of this, we're going to see little arms coming out and doing trying other things, because it's, when we talk about PPC, it's don't stop there. Now we have video advertising. Who knows what's coming next? It's maybe a hologram coming into the room. What do we know?
That would be the coolest thing, a hologram advertising. Well, I know audio is coming, or it's already there in beta mode, but audio is coming. And
yeah, exactly.
Just recently they added sponsored brand video going directly to the storefront. So this really opens up a lot of advertising for brand owners who are looking to get more visibility for their brand. So it's really, there's opportunities always coming.
I really enjoy it, because your videos as well are very inspiring. I'm watching your videos, so it's really nice, because every time there's a new update, we learn from everything. I mean, I like to learn. I like to learn new things. I'm not specialist in PPC. I know about PPC. It's enough to to do a little bit with PPC. But if it goes too big, we give clients away. So that's how it goes. So, but I like it. It's not my passion. If not, I would have done it myself as well. But, I really like it. I enjoy it. I'm watching it and see what you can do with this, and how, some people can manage, like manage out of these things just to a growth in sales. So it's definitely amazing. And then we come as well to the point, because of the video, because you're very motivated. You're always motivated, you're always smiling, always there. It's really a pleasure to watch you, because it's, there is energy inside, So what does motivate you? I mean, in general,
I think the single most important thing to me in terms of that, this is a tough one, because the single most important thing to me, I think, is freedom.
Yeah.
I think it's the freedom that motivates me, the freedom to have choices in the future, the freedom to create, freedom of time, all of that, I think is it freedom to grow. I love learning and growing and all of that. So I think that's what boils down to. The next one is it's a toss up between health and family. I'm not married, but I always am thinking about who is my wife? Like, where is she? I'm thinking about that. And this ties into it as well. And then I always am thinking about my health and family. It's like those three things really motivate me in the day, that's where I'm at. More so than anything, really those three values.
It's super important. I think these are, it's true. You're right. It's the most important things, what somebody should really be motivated on. And as well, yeah, we are still on motivation. For example, if you could send a message, or we send now a message, because obviously there will be people watching this, maybe sellers, maybe people who want to start a business. What would be your message to them? What should they do at the moment? I mean, what would be the best scenario out of the situation we're at the moment with this Corona, or with, let's talk about challenges. We have very challenging times at the moment, and there is a lot of people who lost everything, or who just stuck, in business in general. We don't talk about Amazon or something, just in general. What would be your message to them, for example?
Yeah, I would say that I'm not going to talk about a specific opportunity, because I think there's so many opportunities, and I think every single day there's new opportunities. And if you really clear your mind and your heart to see them, they will come. And I think that comes with working on yourself and taking that as the biggest responsibility, because when you do that, everything else around you gets better. When you do that, opportunities come out of nowhere. When you do that, money comes a lot faster than it would before, and it's a great investment. So things like meditating, exercising, eating right, reading, growing, all that type of stuff. If every ounce of time you spend on that will pay dividends in the future. I think it's the single best thing you could do if you find yourself in the hole right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's really straightforward, this reply. And it's exactly what I'm telling everybody as well, just, take care of yourself, there are opportunities out there. For example, eBay, and just for an example, eBay, Amazon, it's like an open book. If you read it correctly, you can draw any conclusions out of it. You can see who's selling, who not. You can do, you can do all types of things. You get your product out, what you can sell. You just have to invest your time. You need to be really focused and dedicated, and that's about it. Really great reply. Thanks, Mike. Yeah. No problem. We're about to wrap this up as well with this question, and I want to thank you again to having joined today this podcast, Margin Business Entrepreneur Podcast. Yeah, it's I really hope when I come to New York we can meet in person. Unfortunately, at the moment it's not possible, but I'm sure there will be a opportunity at a later point in time.
Yeah, it will happen soon. I'm sure we'll see a lot of people hopefully soon at events. I cannot wait for that. Events. Oh man, I'm so looking forward to that. But thank you very much for having me on. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thanks.